everybody!
Hello.
So nice to see you again. It's been a couple of weeks and we hope you're all keeping well and all this amazing sunshine.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've got my glamorous assistant with me again this week.
Hello.
And all this week, Ellen in her homeschooling has been talking about the solar system and she's been learning all about the sun and the stars and the planets and all those things. Ellen, can you remember any of the planets?
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then there's Pluto, but Pluto's a dwarf planet.
A dwarf planet, a little tiny planet. Whenever I was at school, Pluto was considered a planet, but now Ellen's at school, things have changed a little bit. So that's pretty interesting. And we've been talking a lot, because Ellen's been doing about the solar system, about things that we can see, and maybe sometimes you can't see them and if they're still there. So I've got a few questions for Miss Ellen. So Ellen, tell me, how do you know that the stars are real?
Well, at night time you can see them if you look up in the sky, so they're real because you can see them.
So if you look in the sky at night time, you can see them, but you can't touch them.
No, they're too far away.
Too far away. But how do you know that it's not just a nice picture that somebody's put in the sky and they're actually real?
Well,
Just because?
just because you can see them.
Because you can see them. Okay, and what about during the day? How do you know they're there? Or are they there?
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
Well, I can't see them now, so...
Yeah, if we look outside now, we can't see them. So do you think that during the day the stars aren't there?
I'm not really sure.
You're not sure? Well, let me tell you, the stars are still there. And just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. And the reason we can't see them during the day is because the Earth has turned round and we can now see the sun. So the sun is in the northern hemisphere, so above the equator, and we can see it in our sky. And because it is so bright, it makes all the stars hide during the day, but they're still there.
Oh.
And that actually reminds me of something. So it's really important that we remember that God is always with us. So even when you can't see him, even when you maybe can't touch him, like we can't touch the stars, he's still with us. And we should never be frightened because he's always looking after us. Well, in the Bible, there was a man named Paul. You know about Paul, right?
I know about Paul.
You know about Paul. Well, Paul was a man who'd done some brilliant work. And he had been going all around the countries telling everybody about God and spreading God's word. And he was a brilliant man. But there were some people that didn't like it.
Oh.
They didn't like that he was talking all about God. And who do you think those people were?
People who didn't like God?
People who didn't like God, that's right, the Romans. So they ordered that Paul got arrested. And they wanted to bring him on a ship the whole way to Rome. And he was going to have to stand trial before the Caesar. Or the emperor. What do you think about that?
Well, that's not very good because he's doing the right thing.
Well, he was doing the right thing, wasn't very good at all. So anyway, so Paul got put onto this ship with loads and loads of other criminals that were being taken to Rome to stand trial too. And they'd done some really bad things. There were some really bad people there. But also there were some good people that had done God's work too. And they were there for the same kind of reason. So they were all put on this ship. There was about 270 of them.
Oh my word.
That's bigger than your class.
Yeah.
In fact,
my entire year.
That's bigger than Ellen's entire year. And you know what, boys and girls? I think that's probably bigger than some of your whole schools.
Oh my word.
If we think about Ballyhome, that's probably enough pupils from P1, P2 and P3 all together cramped in one ship. That will be a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're all in this boat and they're all travelling across to Rome. And one night Paul's asleep and an angel comes to him. I know. And when did an angel come before in the Bible?
To see Mary and Joseph.
To see Mary, that's right. So we know that the angels bring good news and it's nothing we should be frightened of. So an angel came to speak to Paul and told Paul that there was going to be a big storm and that the boat was going to be shipwrecked. It was going to be blown to smithereens, completely wrecked. But he should have faith because God would keep him and all of the other passengers safe if they had faith. God would look after them, but the boat would be wrecked. So what do you think of that?
Well, I'd be a bit scared if I was just sleeping and then an angel came to me and was like, right, you're going to be okay, but your boat's going to blow up.
Yeah, please don't panic, but it's going to be the scariest thing ever. Like, that would be pretty tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster. When you go on a roller coaster, you know you're all like strapped in and you know you're going to be completely safe, but you still get that feeling in your tummy and you're like, oh, I'm not so sure. See? So, anyway, a couple of days later, this great big storm came and the seas were getting really rough and everyone was starting to panic. They were thinking, oh my goodness, this is good night. But Paul said to them all, don't worry, guys. An angel came to me a couple of nights ago, told me this was going to happen, said we were all going to be safe, we just had to have faith, and we'd all be cool. Well, loads of people thought he was bonkers. I mean, I think he was bonkers, but the captain believed him, and the captain knew that he was telling the truth. So the captain carried on sailing the boat rather than going to shore like some of the others wanted, and they continued to travel through the storm. And the storm was so bad, guys, they couldn't see the stars at night in the sky because it was so rough. They couldn't see the sun during the day because the waves were so high. It was like nothing you've ever seen before. And eventually they started sailing and sailing, and they sailed towards what they thought was land, and they could feel that the ground underneath the boat was getting more and more shallow. Well, everybody started to panic then because they thought the boat was going to run aground and it was going to fall apart and they were going to be shipwrecked and it was going to crash and it was going to be terrible. So they all jumped off the boat and they started swimming to the shore. And as they swam to the shore, Paul knew that what God had said was right and it was safe to swim to shore, nothing bad would happen. So they all got off the boat and they swam to shore, and the place that they landed in was a place called Malta. Have any of you guys been there on holidays? It's not somewhere I've ever been, but guys, it looks beautiful. It looks so lovely. So if you get a chance to go, you should definitely go. And that's where Paul ended up. And they stayed there, and the boat was completely wrecked, blown to smithereens like he thought, and like God had told him would happen. But everybody on the boat was safe, and they were all on the island. And after a while, when things had all calmed down, Paul still had to go to Rome and he still had to stand trial. And he got in another boat and off he went to Rome to see the emperor. Isn't that pretty cool?
I think it's cool.
So even though he couldn't see God and he was absolutely petrified, God was with him and kept him safe, and he kept faith and he knew that he was going to be okay.
That's great.
Isn't that really great?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something really important for us to remember, especially whenever we're a little bit scared. And it might be something like going on a roller coaster, or do you know, it might be something really simple like trying some new food. Makes me a bit scared. Or it might be doing something you've never done before, going to a new school like Ellen's going to do in September, and making new friends. It could be anything. But guys, you just have to remember that God will be with you and you'll be completely safe. All right, guys? Well, thank you very much for coming with us this morning on our little journey, the whole way to Malta. And we will see you all very soon for our Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Look after yourselves, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.